Are you looking for relevant financial and business-related news during these volatile economic times? Will you take the necessary steps to succeed by becoming a truly wise investor? If you want to learn how to invest online or learn how to start your own profitable online business, then you've come to the right place. The Wise Investors Network presents to you the Win University Update. Remember, only winners invest in their minds for wiser returns.
Hello, wise investors and truly wise investors out there who are about to make a grand appearance on the financial scene. And the financial scene is going to affect not only the financial markets, but will also affect what is commonly known as Main Street, just the average everyday folks. I'll talk more about that as I continue this series. But I left off explaining the whole journey from the bottom of the mountain to the top of the mountain. Those speculators who are in mass are the movers of the market, highly depending on the fundamental analysis. Now, this principle has many different layers, but I want to be as clear as possible. I need to be as clear as possible without getting too over the top, like in the whole explanation of things. And I don't want to be too obscure to the point where I'm sounding like I'm being esoteric or anything like that. I'm going to make it very plain. But there's a way that it has to be addressed. Okay? So, you get to the top, but when you take that journey, you become a wise investor. You're taking the knowledge that you have, and what's most important is that you're now applying something alongside with that knowledge, and that is patience, and that is another two aspects, one associated with greed, another associated with fear. You no longer operate on those two negative emotions. All right. So let me repeat that again. You have patience. You have a lack of fear. You're fearless. And you have a lack of greed. You're content. These three very important virtues are essential and critical in order for you to become a truly wise investor. I can sit here and explain many other things, but I'm holding myself back so that I won't go there, because I need to stay on track to explain to you all who are here listening to this for a specific purpose and a specific reason. I made mention on the previous video that there will be a complete economic change, and it will traverse through several different markets, including markets that are not listed in our financial market report. But it will take effect. And not only will it take effect in the markets, but it will take effect in people's everyday lives. Now, let's talk about the effect. What is this effect? What am I talking about specifically? I'm closing these trades because I will be repositioning many of these assets. I will be repositioning these assets according to where the market is going from a technical perspective. I want to say something when it comes to the difference between those who are at the bottom and those who are at the top. There are many differences, but I want to kind of focus on maybe just one or two of those differences. Number one, the most obvious is numbers. The ones that are at the top are fewer than the ones that are at the bottom. A small percentage only become truly wise investors. And those truly wise investors know that they're truly wise investors because they have an advantage point, a better advantage point than the rest. They can see the big picture because they're at the top of the mountain. They can see the forest from the trees. They can see the entry and the exits out of that whole forest versus someone at the bottom who's stuck in the forest and every tree looks the same. And they're lost. Have no clue on how to get out. It's like a huge maze to them. So there's a difference in numbers and a difference in understanding and perspective. But here, there's the biggest difference is this. Their approach. We're going to see a complete shift in the world due to the approach of the majority who focuses on fundamental analysis versus the technical analysis. And the technical analysis usually, in most cases, now if again you have to be wise to understand this, the technical analysis is really the standard. What do I mean by that? Let me explain. There's two sides to a coin. You have the fundamental analysis and you have the technical analysis, the fundamentals and the technicals. Now, if you choose the fundamentals for a time being, for the time being, you may or may not. It's a lot more riskier to go with the fundamentals, but there are people out there who are successful with the fundamentals. There are quite a few speculators out there and market shakers out there who have mastered different aspects of the fundamentals because the fundamentals ride specifically and directly on human emotion. Bottom line, you have to remember that the markets are just a display of transactions of buying and selling. But who's doing the buying and selling? Are rocks doing buying and selling? Are dogs and cats buying and selling? No, it's human beings. People are buying and selling. So then you have to go to a psychological aspect of what is going on. If human beings are buying and selling, are human beings inanimate objects? Are they just rocks or doors or walls or something that doesn't have emotion, feeling? No. Human beings are very complicated creatures with emotion. So when people are buying and selling, and that buying and selling, get this, that buying and selling is attached to human beings who are very emotional creatures. You cannot separate the process of transactions from emotions, human emotions. You cannot separate it. They're intrinsically connected. They are one and the same. They are one and the same. Yet, there's also another greater principle at work that a lot of people are not aware of, and that is the technical aspect of the market, the technical aspect of buying and selling, the technical aspect of a principle that governs above humanity. So, when you're looking at technical analysis, you don't have to necessarily see it as something that's so lofty and in that term, but it, even though it is, though, I don't want it to sound esoteric or spiritual, but in a sense it is, because what can we relate technical analysis to without getting too convoluted into making it sound like it's spiritual, although there is an aspect of it that is, though. I'm not denying that. I just don't want to get into all of that right now. Maybe another day. But what can we look at when we talk about technical analysis and how we can relate it to the markets and how we can relate it to the market movements? If you don't listen to what I'm about to say, and if you don't pay attention to what I'm saying in these videos, I mean, really pay attention to what I'm saying. I've said this for years, what I'm about to say right now. But if the statement that I'm about to say, if you don't pay attention to what I'm saying right now, you're going to be left behind with the majority. We're at critical mass. Critical. It's extremely critical. A critical hour. Oh my goodness. Time's up. I have to make part 3. So please stay tuned and check out part 3, which is very important. If you haven't checked out part 1, go ahead and check that out. Take your time to listen to it. If you have to listen to it over and over again, take notes, because the content and the information will help you if you receive it and allow it to help you in these upcoming days. Remember, only winners invest in their minds for wiser returns.